What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Daily Walk with Lance. This is where I take my morning Bible devotional, I take some notes down, and then I share it with you guys. Like I say before every video, don't view me as a spiritual leader, prophet. I'm nothing like that. I'm just the average Joe trying to put more Jesus on the internet. Because I had this thought that, if we were up talking to the disciples and they were talking about how they had to travel on foot like 100 miles at a time if people wanted to hear them speak, or people had to travel that same distance to where they were to hear them speak. And now today we have these inventions of phones that we could put in our pockets, and whether it's through recording or through live stream, it's we can reach people thousands of miles apart in an instant. And people and the disciples would ask us, how much easier was it to spread the gospel that way? And most of us went to look at them and be like, we didn't use it for that. We used it for gaming, news, podcast, entertainment, politics, history, school, anything and everything except for the Bible. And so I'm just trying to push the ball forward an inch at a time, and hopefully more people will as well. And also, don't depend on me for, like, if the only Jesus you're getting is my video, that's not what Jesus wants. He wants all of us to do our own research and studying, and then also enjoy each other's content that way. Because at the end of the day, there's no one responsible for your salvation except for you. Well, it's between you and Jesus. Like, that's it. You're not gonna be able to say, oh, Lance said this, or oh, Lance said that, or oh, Lance did this, or oh, Lance did that. Nope, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is what the Word says, and if you believe it or not. And the live streams. I'm gonna be doing live streams a lot more often. Probably 5 days a week, maybe 4. It'll all depend. I've got to figure out a schedule for all this. It started out as something I just kind of did in my spare time, and now if I want to fit everything in and get everything done in a day, I'm gonna have to get like a real strict schedule about me. So, these videos will probably end up coming out a little bit sooner, going forward, because I need to get up earlier. I need to get my devotion done earlier. I need to get to the gym earlier, so that I can fit my video and streaming all in the same day, and to have softball season at the same time. And also, anybody who wants to be, we'll take sponsors at any point in time, but any sponsor that wants to be on the jerseys, the time crunch is here. We're getting ready to order the jerseys. So if you would like to sponsor us, our team email is teamlegacysoftball@gmail.com, or you can DM me on social media and we can figure out a way to get it done. And put softball sponsor request like in the title or in the description. That way I know, like, because once you get on the internet and you start trying to put videos out, you get a lot of spam, a lot of bots. Like, even for someone as small as me, like, my highest followings on X and my DMs are just full of fake bots, and it comes and goes in waves. But if you put softball sponsor, softball team legacy, something like that in the description or the title, and I'll make sure I pay attention to it. All right, y'all. Today's devotional is familiar to most people, but it's about the 10 Commandments, and this time it's actually the second time Moses teaches the 10 Commandments. He teaches it in Exodus and in Deuteronomy. And for most of my younger years, I always thought that it was just like sometimes the Bible will retell a story, because not only was it important, but it was important and necessary. And so I always, in Exodus there's the 10 Commandments, and in Deuteronomy there's the 10 Commandments. The difference in context is the one in Exodus is it Genesis? If I flubbed that and it's Genesis and not Exodus, forgive me. But it's Moses goes up to Mount Sinai and then comes down with them. And then 40 years later in Deuteronomy, he teaches it again to the next generation. And that's what the devotional is today. Is the second time that the Ten Commandments were taught, and it's 40 years after Mount Sinai. So this is the Bible devotional for February 7th. As always, I'm in the New American Standard Bible, and this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verses 6 through 21, and it reads, He said, and that he is God. He said, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. Wait. Out of the land of Egypt. Let's just start that all over. All right. He said, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods besides me. You shall not make yourself a carved image or any likeness of what is in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the water under the earth. You shall not worship them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, inflicting the punishment of the fathers on the children, even on the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing favor to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not leave unpunished the one who takes his name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day to treat it as holy, as the Lord your God commanded you. For 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of the Lord your God. You shall not do any work that day, you or your son or your daughter, or your male slave or your female slave, or your ox or your donkey, or any of your cattle, or your resident that stays with you, so that your male slave and your female slave may rest as well as you. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out of there by a mighty hand and outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God commanded you to celebrate the Sabbath day. Honor your father and mother, just as the Lord your God commanded you, so that your days may be prolonged and that it may go well for you on the lands which the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor desire your neighbor's house, his field, his male slave or his female slave, his ox, his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. And that is Deuteronomy chapter 5, verses 6 through 21. And like I said, this is the second time Moses is teaching the Ten Commandments. And my notes today, I'll look and see, because there's some that people don't, that I understand because I've been around Christianity, but not everybody gets. And then I'll do like a quick read, a more simplified read of the commandments as well. So, like, don't take the Lord's name in vain. That's more of, don't use the Lord in a place where the Lord isn't like supposed to be used. Like if it's a worldly thing, and you say, "Oh, the Lord," this. Be very careful, because that is the third commandment. And then keeping the Sabbath and keeping it holy. So people disagree on whether Saturday or Sunday is the Sabbath. Well, when Jesus came, he completed the law. So what it is God wants you to take a full day of rest. And in that rest, also be in the Word. Also be worshiping. That it should be a day just focused on that. So, with all the different jobs and stuff like that, you should still take a full 24 hours and set it aside for God. And whether it's you think it should be Saturday, Sunday, I don't think that matters. I think it matters that you're taking a full day of rest and doing worship and studying and that kind of thing. Now, it doesn't mean if there's a situation that comes up on the Sabbath and you can help someone, that doesn't mean don't help people. It just means you should be taking a break from your like daily chores or your daily work or what you always do. It should be about God. And sometimes, kind of like how Jesus healed the man on the Sabbath, and the teachers got mad at him, and he's like, "So what? I have the ability to help this person, or because of the Sabbath, I'm not going to." No, you still help that person, but you also remember to keep it holy, and maybe you talk with them about God in that moment. That's different. And then a lot of people they like to change "do not murder" into "do not kill" so that Christians won't defend themselves, so that Christians will. Yes, we are taught to turn the other cheek, but that's for an open hand. That's for a backhand slap. And so you turn the cheek and say, now, oh, full-handed. But when it comes to people, to whether it's an animal or other people trying to do more than that, you're allowed to defend yourself. That's the whole point. Like, that's why it says "do not murder," and a lot of people want to try to change it to say "do not kill," because then they want to say, "Oh, you shouldn't be using animals as food." Well, no, the Bible is okay with you using animals as food. Like, the commandment is about murder. It's about taking someone's life that you weren't supposed to. Like I said, self-defense is allowed. And then, do not commit adultery, which is pretty self-explanatory. America has a big adultery problem, a big one, and it's part of why we're in so much chaos. And I think the rest are pretty self-explanatory. So I'm just gonna run through them real quick. Now, partly because a lot of times all the fancy words and stuff, people get lost, and I'm gonna make it a reel as well, or not a reel, a short for Rumble. All right, so let me see. All right, the first commandment is have no other gods besides Yahweh in the Holy Trinity, and you are to have no idols to other gods. Do not use the Lord's name in vain. Keep the Sabbath and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not lie or give false testimony. Do not covet or envy the possessions of others. Perfect. All right. Like I said, and if you look, society, if you will follow these 10 laws, society turns out to be a better society. And that's part of why we set America up that way, and why the especially the last 30, 40 years, America's really been turning away from God, no matter who's been in office. Like I said, it's been like 40 years, 50 years of us turning away from God. And while there were some things 50 years ago that we obviously needed to get rid of, but we should have kept God at the center still. And like we should have held more leaders accountable. Spiritual leaders, I mean. People who claim to be spiritual leaders, but they really weren't. We let that almost destroy the entire church image altogether. It's holding on by a thread. So, like I said, if America would turn back to these 10 things, you'd see a big difference in America. And then people would say, you know what, there's something to the Jesus thing. There's something to the 10 Commandments. There's something to that. And I just wish we could get back to it. All right, y'all. I think that's gonna do it today. No live stream today. I don't want to do like. I might do live streams on some Saturdays, Oh, excuse me. But with all the weekends, I'm going to be gone coming up. Uh, I don't know. I don't want people to think I'm going to stream every Saturday and then not, and then they don't want to show up to the other stuff. So Saturdays will probably be only one of these videos. And like I said, maybe I might change that. I don't know. And then maybe, or maybe if we're, because if something happens on the field and I need to edit it or something, I don't want it to be live. So, the softball content, that'll probably all just be recorded and then it'll be edited if it needs to be, and then uploaded raw. Yeah, I think that'll be I think that'll be how I do that. If I change my mind on that, I'll let y'all know. And follow me on X. It's at rage_LB. Follow me on X. I get a little bit more I don't know if spicy is the right word, but I'm not afraid to speak my mind, and every now and then that gets me in trouble and I have to repent because I'm human. Like, we all make mistakes. That's the whole point of Christianity, is we all make mistakes, and we all need a path of redemption. And that's what Christianity is. That's why Christianity doesn't force conversion. It doesn't people who backslide, it doesn't fully condemn them. There's always a way back if you will turn back. And there's nothing that you've done that is too much, that as long as if you feel the conviction of, man, I did that wrong, you're not too far gone. Nobody's too far gone. The only people that are too far gone is people that God's given a hardened heart, and that's a whole different thing. And if you even have some guilty conscience, then there's still hope. There's always hope. That's why Jesus came, is so that we would have hope, that even though we've all done wrong, we've all done some form of evil, all of us, there's a way back, and there's a way to heaven still. All right, y'all. If this is the first time one of my videos, if you would, please drop me a follow, hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment. If you're not already established, like the main content creators or like a big business, those people are already established and they already have like a natural push, a natural like people searching for them, and so the algorithm only knows that people want to see a smaller content creators content if people are reacting and interacting with it, and it'll be like, oh, okay, there's something in that video people want to see, we'll push it more. And so you do that for anybody that you've enjoyed their content, not just me. Not everybody wants to say that because everybody's like, oh, you're coming off as a grifter. Well, the algorithm works a certain way, and if we want success on even just the message getting out, whether it makes any money or not, the only way is through interaction until you get that establishment, and then things are a little bit more steady. So like I said, do that for anybody that you watch their content. Even if the comment that you leave is just amen, thank you, praying for you, something small like that, we appreciate it, because believe me, the people who hate, they leave the nasty comments, they leave the nasty DMs almost 100% of the time. And so it's always nice to see like a friendly comment from time to time. All right, y'all, today's Saturday, so tomorrow, no video. I've had very little success on my videos on Sundays when I've chosen to do them on a Sunday, so I definitely think Sundays is part of keeping the Sabbath holy for me, is since I am putting content out there like this, and I get a little bit of attention for it. Sundays is about me taking a back seat, me being quiet, me letting God take over more control, and letting other people get what they need. Because like I do this every day, and a lot of people they come to church on Sunday and that's the only Jesus they get. And so if I don't want to get in the way of that, I'm always, if you ever see me and you have questions, I'm always open and have a good faith talk. But for Sundays is like, I have this personal conviction I'm supposed to take a back seat because I do put videos out there. So Sundays are supposed to be more about Jesus than myself. Well, it's always supposed to be more about Jesus than myself. I think y'all get what I'm trying to say. All right, y'all. I will, unless something changes. I don't know. Part of me wants to. If I have an open Saturday where I'm not traveling, I should stream. I might end up doing that. So you might see me a little bit later today. Probably not. But if not, I will catch y'all Monday. All right, y'all. Be safe out there. Peace.